On this episode of Risk Takers, we speak to S'londiwe Nkabinde on turning her passion for beauty into a business.
And then, baby girl started getting a glow up. And I realized that I love makeup. Oh my gosh, I love makeup. Let's figure out what we can do. And also my biggest issue with South African brands is there were no South African brands on the market that catered for Africans, because 80% of the brands that we have on the shelves are brands that are imported.
First of all, I just wanted to start off by saying, the premise of this whole show, Risk Takers, for me is, speaking to people who have done something that's a little bit out of the ordinary, or they're not going the typical route. And the reason why I wanted to speak to you is because you started a side hustle based on your passion while you were still a student, which I think is really remarkable and really inspiring. And so before we begin really getting into your brand, I just want you to introduce yourself. If you can tell us a little bit about who you are, and then tell us about your brand, Viso.
I'm S'londiwe Nkabinde. I studied a BCom Financial Management. I studied a BCom Financial Management. And so I'm just going to tell you a little bit, a bit of a background story as to why I chose BCom Finance. First of all, I have always loved money. I've always loved money. There's nothing in the world, guys, like money. In grade 9, guys, I used to sell big bombs. Yes, I used to sell big bombs.
What are big bombs? What are big bombs?
Suckers.
How much are you selling them for?
I was selling them for 2 rand. Yeah, they used to fly. 2 packets a day. Yeah, I studied finance. So during my school years, I think, first year I was a bit of like a hobo, and then, baby girl started getting a glow up. And I realized that I love makeup. And once again, I love makeup, but essentially I enjoy doing the painting. I love obviously doing my face, but I'm one of those people that love the business side of anything. Oh my gosh, I love makeup. Let's figure out what we can do. And also my biggest issue with South African brands is there were no South African brands on the market that catered for Africans, because 80% of the brands that we have on the shelves are brands that are imported, and those kind of brands are not brands that are essentially made to cater for us. We're basically just a casualty on the way, saying, oh, okay, let's export to them. So yeah, essentially, that's why I started Viso. And when I say Africans, I mean everyone in South Africa, in the continent of Africa, people whose skin is basically adjusted to our temperature, is people that are in, you get what I'm saying. So it's not necessarily, I don't necessarily just say it's for Black people, because it's a versatile brand, So yeah, that's how I started. And I found that, when you do find the right brand, that, something that is going to, for example, go with your foundation or your color, it's going to cost you about 1,000 rand.
Like, what were the steps you took from, I love makeup, I think actually like there's a gap for me to create something that's affordable and quality? How did you go from that being just an idea to executing?
So I would say that research. You have to research. You have to understand your product. You have to understand your market. You have to understand the people that you want to sell to. So for me, it had a lot to do with research, finding the right manufacturer, finding the right, whether it's a manufacturer, whether it's a supplier. I had to figure out, who is the best person in the game who's going to give this to me.
And did you find that you lost a lot of money in that process of maybe making research? Okay.
Yeah, I think when you're not a professional researcher, you're not going to know what to do. You're not going to necessarily understand insights or whatever, or even if you have the information that you have, you're not necessarily always going to understand what to do with that information, or how to go about instilling the right kind of systems in your business. if it's not going to be easy. So it really is a trial and error type of thing. So for me, I do think that was a big challenge for me. I do also think that I'm going to touch base on like the emotional and psychological side of building a brand. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I think people are always, I think business is so glamorized. And the mistake that we make is we always say that we want to start a business, but we're not really, willing to do the work. We're not, you're not willing to do the work. And then when it just, it's hard.
It's a slow process. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need to be able to be self-motivated, I think. You need to get to a point where you're like, listen, I don't feel like doing this today, but I have to do it because this is what I want, But yeah, it's not easy, but you just have to keep pushing. There's no other way. There's no other way. This is your baby. Your business is like your baby. Sometimes your baby's going to irritate you and you don't know what it wants to eat, but you have to keep pushing. You can't stop being a mom. You don't stop.
Like, where do you get your support from? How do you overcome that?
I think I have a really incredible support system, but also I pray a lot. I pray, man. I pray so much. I'm a very big advocate of God, and I'm a big advocate of Jesus. I have a prayer life. So I think, on days where I feel like the world is on top of me, I wake up and, I have to keep it moving. I would also say my mom. My mom is a very big, support structure. And I'm just also very lucky to have friends that are always friends and family that are always willing to listen to me, vent and kind of not get irritated and frustrated, and people that are constantly going to keep pushing you. Because sometimes you don't want to hear, all you need to hear is, no, listen, just keep going. It's gonna be okay.
What have you learned about yourself that you didn't know about yourself in this journey, in this process?
I'm impatient.
You didn't know you were impatient.
I know I was impatient. I just didn't know I was impatient to this level. And also I'm one of those people where I think also, I do kind of struggle being in Durban. This is why if anyone wants to recruit me to come to Joburg, hello. When I want something, I want it now. I need it done now, and I need it done. I need it done. And I think I do need to push back on that, a little bit. Stop being so I don't understand why this is not done at this time. Yeah.
So what can we expect from Bella Viso? So currently you guys have an eye palette, you have lipsticks?
Lipstick, yes.
And then you also have what else do you have? It's the eye palette, it's the lipstick and
makeup brushes. We're bringing in makeup brushes. And then there's the fourth thing, which is pretty big, that we are branching into. I can't say it now because then it's just going to ruin everything. But it is so incredible. It is so incredible of things that I think we're missing as South African entrepreneurs. And there's a lot of things that we're missing, and there's a lot of things that we're taking for granted. For me, for example, when I'm speaking on this, I'm just going to give a little bit of a hint. There's a South African plant that I will be using to make the product, and it is so incredible. I did not believe the results when I actually tried it. I mean, we tried it on about 15 people, and I think there was only one person who was who wasn't as happy.
I just wanted to know, firstly, what is your vision for Bella Viso? What is your vision? Long term, medium term, short term?
We're going to become the biggest beauty brand in Africa. I'm telling you, and we're going to sit there with the giants. We're going to sit there with the international giants. I'm telling you now. And I don't care how long it takes, but it's going to happen. And that's one thing that I can tell you is I'm a firm believer in people trusting your brand. And that's what I believe my brand, people need to trust their products. I don't trust products because I always feel like people lie to me a lot. because of advertising. I think that's also because of the industry that like I've kind of been in. But for me, I made Viso in mind because I was like, I want products that work, products that are affordable, products that are for our people, and then we take these products out into the world. You know, so yeah, so that's. But it's. I promise you, just remember the name.